Okay, boleh?
Yes, Datuk.
Okay, good afternoon or good morning or good evening, depending on which time zone you are in. Thank you very much for joining this ASEC SSE Academy. This is very important. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is a very important occasion in which we are providing this online opportunity for us to share the dimensions of social solidarity economy. It is also a time for us to consolidate community-based approaches in the COVID situation in building local economies. And we actually now have about 56 people who have already come in, but about 121 registered from 26 different countries. I'm sure they will come in and we will await them. We are very privileged to have Dr. Ben Quinones with us, who is the founder of ASEC, which is the Asian Solidarity Economy Council. We are also fortunate to have Pak Bambang from Indonesia, who is a co-founder of ASEC with Dr. Ben. These are what I would call fathers, Bapa to solidarity economy in Indonesia, in the Philippines, in promoting from a lifetime area. Dr. Ben will take the first full hour looking at two topics: introduction to ASEC and the SSE as a social system, as well as SSE dimensions 1 and 2. I thought it would be better for Dr. Ben to take the whole hour. You can write your questions in the chat, and Chandra will alert us at the end of the first two topics, and I would let you all ask questions and clarify, and then we will move in the second hour to the SSE dimensions 3, 4, and 5, which I would help moderate and present. And both Dr. Ben and I have slides. We are happy to share these slides with you, and we also want to see that the ongoing training is on May the 9th, when Dr. Eri and Chandra will also do presentations where we can take the agenda forward. And we then want to see whether we can do some online work at the national level in your own countries. If any one of the organization wants to host it, we can provide the Zoom facilities and the resource persons, but you will have to recruit your people, especially within the Asian context or other parts as well. So Dr. Ben, I think we will start off with Dr. Ben's introductory session and also introducing SSE as a social system. These sessions are being recorded. The PowerPoints are made available to you as educational resource materials so that you can utilize them to promote. We are also encouraging members who attend this course to do your case studies using the 5 dimensions and present it back to us. So if Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore or Thailand or India wants to use the framework, then to represent concrete examples as well. So with that note, thank you for joining us. Chandra from time to time will intervene. I think he will take group photos. He will interject. He will, assist us with technical assistance as well. So over to Dr. Ben Quinones. who will take over for the next hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Denison. Good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the ASEC Online SSE Academy. I just would like to, first of all, clarify that the founders of ASEC are basically three persons. They call them the three musketeers of ASEC. Bambang from Indonesia, Dr. Denison from Malaysia, and myself. Now, Chandra and Eri are their artagnans, you know. They're the younger ones. So what I will do today is to give you an introduction to ASEC and Social Solidarity Economy. Maybe you can upload the PowerPoint, Chandra.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can continue.
This will be a very fast presentation because we are pressed for time, but you can write down your questions and then raise them later on. So let's go to slide number 2. Okay, so we have been conducting these virtual discussions for the last 2 months, but it was unstructured, and so we thought that now it is time to provide a structure to it, especially that we don't know when this lockdown, global lockdown due to COVID-19 will end. So the objectives of this Online SSE Academy is for us to become channels of blessings. What does that mean? We learn SSE together and we help others do the same. Yeah. Second is we go and multiply. What does that mean? We are expected to launch your own ASEC Online SSE Academy so that you can reach out to more people. Because this academy is part of the commons, meaning to say it is a collective property and we want everyone to make use of it. What is the caveat on learning? Meaning to say warning or limitations. It is a saying from Galileo Galilei, Italian physicist, engineer, and astronomer. He said, you cannot teach a person anything. You can only help him find it within himself. Now that is difficult for me to understand when I was a freshman, college, but there is a Chinese adage which says, you can bring the horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. What does it mean? It means without the desire to learn, without the motivation to learn about SSE, no matter how many lectures we give you, information, documents, references, it will not mean anything to you. So we encourage you to write down your questions while I am presenting, and then you ask them during the open forum. Course fee. This is not compulsory, the course fee. It is free. However, if there is voluntary donation, especially when it comes from the heart, we will accept it very, very gladly. Next slide, please. So let's go to the lessons. Origins of ASEC and concept of SSE. Prior to the year 2000, SSE was unknown in Asia. Why? Because the popular concept then were microcredit, microfinance, grassroots of people's economy. In the process, microcredit and microfinance became very popular and people forget about grassroots of people's economy. So this was the situation then. And then there were individual authors who wrote about solidarity economy, a lot of them. But for the first time, a group of people, about 300 of them, from 33, 32 countries, came together in Lima, Peru, wrote a declaration and defined SSE. So they defined SSE as an economy that incorporates cooperation, collective sharing and action, putting human being at the center of economic and social development. That was a very short definition. Imagine 300 people coming together in Lima, Peru and coming up with this output. Next slide, please. Chandra, next slide.
Wait.
Okay, in 1998, the year after, some of the participants from Lima meetings established the Work Group of Solidarity Socio-Economy, or WSSE, This was a part of the Alliance for Responsible Plural United World, and it conducted researches in this process on solidarity economy, mainly in France, maybe three times a year, headed by Philippe Amaro. He was a senior staff of the Charles Lupord Mayer Foundation, or EPH, also supported this initiative. A number of Asians were members of this group. I was one of them. Now, in 2001, some of the participants of the Lima meeting also came together in Quebec and established REPES, the Intercontinental Network for the Promotion of Source of Solidarity Economy, at the second international meeting in Quebec. So now you have two groups talking about solidarity economy, motivated by the global vision that was formed in Lima, Peru. Next slide. So from 2000 to 2013, the REPES International Meeting for the Globalization SSE Academy was conducted every 4 years. It was in Quebec City 2001, Dakar 2005, Luxembourg 2009, and then Manila, October 2013. More Asians participated, and more Asians get to know about SSE. They came from fair trade organizations, microfinance institutions, labor unions, and so many others. But because in 2007, there was an Asian Solidarity Economy Forum, also participants from that forum got to participate in Luxembourg. And in 2009, that was the first time that a seat for Asia was provided in REPES Board of Directors. So the coordinators were appointed. I was appointed, and also Sunit Chachakar from Indonesia, Nepal. Okay. Now, during that time, the issue of what is social economy versus solidarity economy was very much in process, because you see, there's a lot of people in Europe that claim to be belonging to social economy and not to solidarity economy. But those who belong to solidarity economy, they said this social economy, some of that is not part of solidarity economy. So social economy was meant to be, it refers to collective organizations like cooperative and mutuals. And the basic definition or characteristics is one man, one vote. Solidarity economy, on the other hand, means collective undertaking, organized groups as organizations. But then they said democratic participation is not enough, because many cooperatives have become so profit-oriented, they have forgotten the social mission. So democratic participation is not enough criteria for social economy organizations to be part of solidarity economy. There must also be people and planet prioritized over profit. So that's why it's called post-capitalist system and transformative, because in capitalism, you prioritize profit over people and planet. In solidarity economy, you reverse this, put it upside down. People and planet over profit. Next slide. So in 2007, the Asian participants of WSSE and REPES met and established Asian Solidarity Economy Forum. Pa Bambang was there. This was in Manila. And then this was repeated in 2009 in Tokyo, Kuala Lumpur 2001, Manado, Indonesia 2012, Angeles City 2012. Now, participants of Forum in 2009 already recommended ASEC to be formally established. But it was only in Kuala Lumpur that the participants demanded that ASEC should be established immediately. And that was why Dr. Denison was asked by the participants to register ASEC immediately in Kuala Lumpur. And for that reason, the headquarters of the ASEC is in Kuala Lumpur. Now, this Asian Forum came up also with the definition of SSE. It defined the SSE as an inclusive economy that pursues the triple bottom line goals of people, planet, and profit. These are the three P's, the necessary conditions for SSE to exist. So if you want to know whether an organization, business, or enterprise is SSE or not, you look for three P's. Are they doing people, prioritizing people, planet over profit? Then you can say that this organization or enterprise is SSE. However, if you want to know whether this enterprise organization will go a long way and become sustainable into the future, then you have to add two more dimensions. The first is social mission or socially responsible governance and edifying ethical values. I will be focusing on the next session about social responsible governance. I will explain it, and edifying ethical values. And Dr. Denison will be explaining the three P's. Next slide, please. So 2012, this five-dimension framework was tested in Manado. Samratulangi University students tested it, and also the Philippine partners of ASEC tested it before they conducted the forum. So in 2013, because RIPES participated in all Asian forum, they got part of the definition from Asia and put that into the global vision of RIPES. Next slide. So the global vision of RIPES, it says, SSE is an alternative to capitalism and other state-dominated economic systems. Ordinary people play active role, etc. So let me qualify this and explain. It says here that SSE is different from capitalism and state-dominated economic systems, meaning to say socialist system, for example. How is SSE different from socialism? We know it differs really from capitalism because it puts people and planet over profit. But how is it different from socialism? Well, in socialism, the government owns everything. The government owns the factories, the lands, all properties. The people are just workers. That's why they're called proletariat. There is no owner among the individuals, no individual ownership. In SSE, it is the people who own the factories, the land, they manage it, they are the workers. This is the main difference. It is the people who move the economy, not the government, not the private sector. So, in 2012 to 2018, ASEC became part of the annual, well, all these activities you can see, it will be flashed there. And I will end my, presentation here so that we can entertain questions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Datuk Denison.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ben, for that comprehensive and historical overview. But I think central to your presentation is the alternative economic model that I think ASEC and the RIPES and others are formulating, have formulated, and the enlargement of the grassroots network. I think we could take one or two questions or comments on this historical overview, but also conceptual, before we move on to the next. Chandra, anyone, hands are up or?
Not yet, because we haven't opened it. So, and I haven't told the participant that during the session you can put your question in the chat room. But now the Datuk.
Okay, maybe Chandra, maybe yeah, best thing I could suggest is, because Pak Bambang is around and Pak Bambang is also a founder. Pak Bambang, would you like to say a few words on this historical overview and framework and experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
Denison?
Pak Bambang. We can
Yes.
hear you.
Hello,
I can hear you.
Yes.
Personally, I was very much work in the grassroots level, and we consider that it is not enough if you are just working at the grassroots level. So when I met Ben, Pak Ben, firstly, when we were met in the conference in Nanjing with the APRAKA, then Bina Swadaya was very much inspired. It is necessary to work not at a very grassroots level, but also it is good to conduct a kind of meeting with higher policymakers. And it goes into the many different cooperation. And finally, we met in the forum of Asia as ASEC. And I joined most of the conferences, and I'm very happy about it. And we apply in Indonesia by promoting, we call it a kind of movement networking among the NGOs, government institutions, and also private sectors. And many grouping on it are promoted at the national level. But at the same time, also every organization linked with other regional and international conferences. And this makes that our solidarity in this kind of movement is very convincing us. And we in Bina Swadaya very much likely that Chandra and Eri are representing not only Bina Swadaya, but especially in ASEC Indonesia. And so the young people are now there. My position is now trying to be from the backside to support, and also not only at the national, but also at regional and also international conferences. Thank you for the opportunity to say hello to everybody, and I appreciate the initiative for very good conference like this. I think this is one of the opportunity when we work from home. Now we work from home to the global level. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pak Bambang, I think it's very historical that you could also join us. Actually, you should be one of the speakers because of all the work you have done in Bina Swadaya and the kind of movement in Indonesia. We appreciate your input. I think, Dr. Ben, it might be better if you carry on with your main presentation, and then we can take up discussion with the dimensions, which is more conceptual, and with that we can come back to the definitions, because I think the explanation over the 5 might illustrate the dimensions better. Dr. Ben, back to you.
Thank you, Denison. Thank you.